Well, good evening. It is great to see you all here for this pre-service tonight. Thank you so much for coming. This team that's going to speak tonight, they were hoping so badly that they would have a big crowd here tonight. And they are so thankful that you all are here. They're so excited to talk to a crowd of this size, and they just can't wait to share with you. But we're excited tonight to be able to present to you a little bit of what's been happening with Youth and Missions. And God's been helping us. We've had some good trips this summer. You heard about a couple of those at youth camp. But we're going to have the Alaska team come tonight and share with you about what happened on their trip that they took just recently. They did an awesome job. And they're actually terrified. They didn't want a crowd at all. They tried to get me started half an hour early so no one was here. But they're going to do a great job. You should all just wave at them or do something. Yeah, just make them really, really comfortable there. And all right. Well, we're going to have them come at this time and share with you a little bit about their trip.
Good evening. We did have a great trip to Alaska. Just to put it in a little bit of perspective, we went to Dot Lake, Alaska. That's where my brother Jeff Dieter has a ministry there, and it had been 35 years since I had been there as a teen and lived there for several of my teen years. So that was such a privilege. We ministered in Dot Lake. These are the villages: Tanacross, Northway, Tetlin, Mentasta, and Tok. Tok is where Jeff's family has the Upper Tanana Youth Ministries. It's been a youth camp, but this year they added, the week after their youth camp, they added a kids camp. So it was a brand new venture for them. Its setting is a 40-acre area that they're developing. 10 acres has 3 cabins on it with a cook shack that they can cook for the campers. 10 acres is developed into campsites, and then there's 20 acres there yet to be developed. So quite a nice little setting for us to have the kids camp this year, and we really enjoyed our time there. Thank you, Jeff, for the opportunity, and I want to say a special thank you to my mom and dad. My mom bought all of our groceries, had them on the shelves at the school where we stayed in Dot Lake, and when we got there, we had it all ready to go. So that saved me hours and a lot of work. So thank you, Mom.
My name is Kiara Clyde. I'm 17 years old, and I attend the Cottage Hill Church.
So what are some unique sights that you got to see in Alaska, Kiara?
So a few days after the kids camp, we had just some time to travel and see some sights. So one morning, Monday morning, we got up, or tried to get up at 4 in the morning, load into our trusty white van, and drive for 5 hours to get to a town called Valdez on the coast. It's like a little bay, a little fishing town, super, super fun. So on our long ride, we took a lot of stops. We always made the bells take a ton of pictures for us. Sit on the road and take pictures, yes. And probably the best part about that whole ride, the part I enjoyed the most, was that we got to hike up to a glacier, which was super cool. When we got to the town, we were able to walk along the dock and look at all the boats. It was a super cute little town. We watched some fishermen haul their fish in and fillet and cut up their fish. The boys thought that was really cool. Us girls did not. We were really grossed out. So instead we went and found coffee, which was great. We literally had been so far away from any espresso. We were coffee deprived. So by the time we got there, we were so happy. So we drugged the guys to 3 different coffee shops until we found the one that was just perfect. We did some souvenir shopping, and Dandy got to meet the mayor of Valdez, or he said he was the mayor, we weren't sure, just a random guy at a gas station. After that, I think our last stop was a salmon hatchery, which is super cool. We get to watch all the salmon swimming upstream. We watched some sea lions. One was named Troy. He was feasting. He was feasting on salmon, and it was super cool. We loaded back up into our white van and headed 5 hours back and got to sleep around 1. So it was a very, very long, but super beautiful and awesome. One part that I wanted you guys to understand is that you might think of Alaska as just mountains and streams and salmon. But the rest of the team is gonna talk about the other part of Alaska we got to see, which was like the not so pretty, the parts that were kind of rough. But honestly, I just want to like add a little disclaimer: the mountains and this stuff was not the important part. They're gonna all talk about the important stuff.
Thank you, Kira.
My name is Daniel Satterfield. I'm 17 and I'm from Salem, Ohio.
So what are some unique things that you got to experience?
One of the weirdest things about Alaska is that it never really gets dark. There's a sunset at like 11 to 12 o'clock at night, and then the sun rises at like 3 or 4. But even after sunset, it's really not dark. It's like maybe what it would be at like 10 o'clock here. So that was weird. And then we played softball one night, and we were so surprised because it ended up being like 11 by the time we were done playing softball, and we didn't need lights or anything. And then on our way up to Alaska, we actually saw the sunrise all the way from the sunset all the way from Salt Lake clear up to Fairbanks. The sun was setting the whole entire way.
That was 5 hours of a flight, literal sunset the whole way. Thank you, Daniel.
My name is Brennan Knight, and I'm 17 years old, and I'm from New Philadelphia Emmanuel Church.
And he really liked the subject I gave him. What great food did you get to eat?
We got fresh salmon that was like, I think it was about 2 weeks old, was it? Something like that. It was amazing. If I didn't thank you, it was amazing. We got smoked brisket for Sunday dinner, and we also got halibut burgers at a restaurant in Toke, and they were amazing.
My name's John. I'm over the hump. And I go to Franklin.
We were in Alaska. We want him to tell us what made him most fearful.
So my greatest fear of the trip was realized at about 32,000 feet in the air, halfway between Pittsburgh and Salt Lake City, Utah. My wife, who is a very key component to this trip, is kind of twisting and turning in her seat, not sleeping, and finally she leans over and she puts her hand behind her back and she says, I think I might be having a kidney stone attack. And I thought, oh, this is not good. Not good at all. And I suddenly had all kinds of things flashing through my mind. We get to Salt Lake City in the airport. We found some Tylenol. She's taking Tylenol out, trying to walk off the pain. And the whole time I'm thinking, man, we got to get her to Alaska somehow. And I'm thinking, this is a kids camp. This is going to be really bad. This is supposed to be the trip of a lifetime for these young people, and all of a sudden this could really take a bad turn. And so I was praying, and we got there. They were able to. She spent a day in the Fairbanks hospital the day after we got there, and they got her where she could tolerate things, and we got through the kids camp. But when Julie finally told the young people what was going on, I can't imagine what was going through their minds, thinking, this old guy's going to try to cook for us, entertain us, and we had this big suitcase with all the camp materials in it, and only one person really knew what all was in there. But they did an awesome job. I just want to take the opportunity to say it publicly. This is an exceptional group of young people. They did fabulous in every way. We could not have asked for a better group of young people, and they put themselves into the ministry of reaching out to the children, and I deeply appreciate it.
They did a great job of unpacking my suitcase puzzle. And when I got there Thursday, it was all set up. They had figured it all out, and we were ready to go. All right, next.
Hi, my name is Chloe Clyde. I'm 16 years old, and I'm from the Cottage Hill Church.
So, what was a day of kids camp like?
The days of kids camp were definitely long, but also a lot of fun. We would leave Dot Lake, where we were staying, and drive an hour to Toke, where the kids camp was being held. From there, we hopped on vans to go pick up the kids. There were 2 villages we were picking kids up from, so the team split up into 2 different groups. Both of the villages were about an hour and a half away, so we definitely spent a lot of time spending in a van. According to Mr. Bell's mileage tracking app, we traveled around 2,050 miles in the vans. As you can probably imagine, after almost 2 hours of riding in a van full of kids, things could get pretty rowdy, so we would play different games with the kids to try to keep them occupied. One of our favorite games to play was the quiet game, and it actually worked pretty well. Apparently, on one of the van rides, Kiera was sharing some fun facts about me with the kids. So for the rest of the kids' camp, the kids were all calling me the girl who's scared of porta potties. Once both vans arrived at the kids' camp with the kids, they all unloaded and squeezed into the small cabin where we were doing the VBS. The team helped lead songs, act out Bible stories, and play review games. One challenge we ran into was keeping the kids' attention. So after the first day, we had to change some of our methods to try to keep the kids engaged. The kids got a break when they could eat lunch and play outside, which definitely helped too. After the kids' camp was over, the kids, along with the team members, climbed back into the vans for the ride back to their villages. Even though the van rides were long and the kids could get pretty restless, it was probably one of my favorite parts of the trip. The long rides gave plenty of time to make friends with the kids and build a relationship with them. The kids' camp and the rides with the kids were so much fun, and definitely a big highlight of my trip, and I'm so thankful we had an opportunity to help out there.
So to put that in perspective, Jeff would pick them up at 9 a.m. in Dot Lake. They would travel until 1 o'clock, get to kids' camp. We'd do that for a couple hours, 2.5 hours, get back in the vans, take them all home, and by the time they would arrive back in Dot Lake for our supper, I'd have it ready. It was about 8:10 in the evening. That's a long day. All right.
Hi, my name is Shayla Blowers. I'm 18 years old, and I'm from the Indiana Wesleyan Methodist Church.
So what surprised you most on our trip?
So before going on this trip, I didn't really know what to expect. So there were a lot of things that surprised me, such as having to make a 45-minute drive to the closest store, extremely bumpy roads due to the permafrost that takes place in Alaska because of the extreme cold temperatures, and even the laid-back culture that we found. But the thing that surprised me the most was how little the kids at the kids' camp knew about God and the Bible. The first day of kids' camp, Mrs. Bell asked the kids if sin was bad or good, and almost all of the kids didn't even know how to answer that question. It broke my heart to know that there are kids, even in America, who don't even know what sin is. This and so many things about the entire trip made such a lasting impression on me. It made me realize in a new way that I need to live my life in such a way that I can shine the light of Jesus to those who don't know who he is. I'm incredibly grateful that God gave me the opportunity to go on this trip and to experience the things I did. Alaska will always have a special place in my heart.
All right, we tried after we realized that they were not, they didn't, literally, I asked them, is sin good or bad? And I said, thumbs up, thumbs down. And they literally just didn't quite know how to respond. And so we hit on that one quite often throughout the next few days. All right, next.
Hi, my name is Daniel Hardy III, and I am 17. I go to the New Bethlehem Wesleyan Methodist Church.
So what were some added blessings that we had on our trip?
Well, one of the added blessings was definitely whenever we got done with the kids' camp and got back, we got to go to the Dot Lake Youth Camp. And sometimes we'd make it in time for the services, other times we just make it in time for the activities afterwards. But Brother Tim Keep was the evangelist up there, and he did a really good job at sharing God's word with the young people up there, and it was just a real encouragement to my heart whenever I got to hear him speak. And it was just an awesome time of fellowship with the young people afterwards. Another added blessing would be on Sunday we got to go to two different churches, one in Tannacross, and in the one in Tannacross we got to help out with the singing, and we led the singing, and one of the girls played the piano. And just to be able to help out in that church was a real blessing. And then we got to go to the Dot Lake Church, and we got to do a little bit of singing there, or I didn't, but some of them did. And actually it was kind of funny because in the middle of their song, they had a piano soundtrack on a speaker, and in the middle of their song, the phone that was playing over the speaker decided it wanted to set the alarm off. And so the alarm started going off in the middle of the song, which was very, very funny. But it was just a great time getting to share the gospel with those kids and getting to have some of those extra blessings.
All right, great.
Hi, my name is Jenna Blowers. I'm 16 years old, and I attend the Indiana Wesleyan Methodist Church.
Okay, so what impact did this trip have on your life? This was your first trip, correct?
Yes. I'll be honest, when I used to come to these pre-services, I would hear everyone say how youth and missions trips had changed their life. I thought it was just something you were supposed to say. But it wasn't until I experienced a missions trip for myself that I realized it is so true. This trip definitely impacted my life in so many ways. To see the kids begging for attention and enjoying every bit of it they got really made an impression on me. It was also so sad to see how little Bible knowledge the kids knew. But the thing that stands out to me the most is how quickly we became attached to the kids. I really enjoyed riding the van with the kids, and dropping them off at their homes on the last day was definitely one of the hardest things that I did on the trip. Going on this trip has also given me a new passion for missions, especially children's ministry, even in my own church. It has been my prayer that something we said or did will stand out in every one of the kids that came to Kids Camp. We were supposed to go there to hopefully, with God's help, change the kids, but God used the kids to change me. I know it is said and repeated often, but it is so true. If you ever get the opportunity to go on a youth and missions trip, I would highly recommend it because it really will change your life.
Okay, good. And, you know, they were going 50 to 60 miles in all directions and bringing kids in. And, you know, it's just, it helps our young people to see what our missionaries do. This was the second week for the Dieters to be bringing kids every single day. So if we did 2,000 miles, the missionaries in 2 weeks did 4,000 miles. So it's good for our young people to see the investment that's made.
Hi, my name is Kira Ziegler. I am 17 and I attend the Indiana Wesleyan Methodist Church.
What moment had us all in tears?
Well, Saturday evening was the last day of Kids Camp and we had just finished taking all the kids back to their villages. Our team was riding in our big white van back to the Dot Lake School. We were all just kind of tired and listening to music or dozing off to sleep. We'd also been talking about how much we were going to miss the kids and how the Kids Camp was over so fast. Daniel told us about a specific song that we should listen to because it described the kids' situation so well. So we all looked it up and listened to it, and a few of us cried. But fast forward to being back at the school that night, we decided the Bells really needed to hear this song. So we put it on, and we all just kind of gathered around and listened. Pretty soon we were all sniffling and wiping our eyes, except for one of the boys who shed maybe about 2 tears, but I will not tell you who that one was. Anyways, we finished listening to the song, and we discussed the whole situation and prayed together. That was definitely a moment that had us in tears. I figured I should read a couple of the lyrics for you all, so I will in just a minute. I know these lyrics might mean something different for some people, but they really spoke to us. I found myself listening to this song multiple times a day, and every time I listen to it, I just see the faces of the kids that we met at that kids camp. These little kids that crave any bit of love or attention. Honestly, I felt pretty helpless because it's like you tell them a story, you play a game with them, you hold them on your lap, you give them a snack, and then you send them right back to their awful situations. I can't really explain the feeling I got from this trip, but it was unlike any other. I've been on other mission trips, and I've never had this feeling. All I can say is it really changed my perspective. And though this was a moment that we were all in tears, I think it might have been one of my favorite, most meaningful moments from the trip. Can you read the lyrics?
Where's it start? Right here. Okay, this says, what about us? What about all the times you said you had the answers? What about us? What about all the broken, happy ever afters? What about us? What about all the plans that ended in disaster? What about love? What about trust? What about us? That night I told the young people they don't need to go and think this is the end of ministry. Go home with that same passion. There are lost souls, your neighbors, your neighborhood kids, just people in your lives. Take advantage of that passion you feel because they're lost just like these little children are lost. But go and find someone to share the love of Jesus with. And we're going to close. Kira Clyde wrote a poem, and it just kind of summed up our trip, and that's the close of it. Thank you all for giving toward these young people to be able to go to this on this mission trip. If they didn't have your support as parents, as churches, and as people, they wouldn't be able to go.
Okay, if you saw our radiant yellow shirts, this is going to make more sense to you. Bright yellow and bittersweet. In shirts of yellow, bold and bright, we came beneath the northern light. With open hands and hopeful eyes, we walked beneath Alaska's skies. We served, we laughed, we prayed, we cried, with hearts stretched wide and arms slung wide. From mountain peaks to rivers cold, we shared our stories, young and old. We learned far more than what we gave, in every soul a spark to save. But then the time came to part, with heavy bags and heavier heart. The plane awaits, the engines hum, our journey's end had finally come. So there we stood, a yellow sea, a team once strangers, now family. With photos packed and stories grown, we're going back, but not alone. For though we leave, we also stay, and memories made each awesome day.
Didn't they do an awesome job? After hearing that, Brother Blowers, you're on this committee that helps make this possible. After hearing from these kids and seeing what they got to experience, what makes you excited about Youth and Missions and what's going on with Youth and Missions?
You know, I think the most exciting thing is the impact that all these young people come home and their lives have been impacted. To get them on the front lines of ministry and to realize it's not just a mission field somewhere where they get on an airplane and go to, but all of us live on a mission field. There's people everywhere that need Jesus. And to see these young people have that opportunity and to come home and testify to the change in their life, that's exciting to me, and only eternity is going to reveal all those rewards.
Absolutely.
So this was this summer's last trip. Nathan, tell us real quick, if a young person wants to go on a trip next summer, where are some places they can go?
So we have several trips lined up for next summer. We're going to Little Eagle, South Dakota next summer, probably towards the end, sometime in August before family camp here at Stoneboro. And Reverend Mark and Jennifer Dieter are going to be taking that trip. And I'm going to have the young people go ahead and take these flyers back through while we're talking about these trips and just pass them out to all the young people that are here. And so we're excited about that trip. Brother Brady Cope wants to put up on some kind of youth camp for the kids there in Little Eagle, and that's what the team would be doing, is helping to make that happen.
All right, Little Eagle, South Dakota, so that's one within our country. If a young person wants to go to one overseas, what are some of those we're offering next summer?
We're also going to Ghana, West Africa, and we're going to take a trip that coincides with one of the West's trip back to Ghana. And that's going to happen probably in June, late June next summer. And we're super excited about this opportunity. The team will probably be doing a couple VBSs and helping the West out there in whatever way they can. And as far as right now, there are still a couple seats available on the Ghana trip. I'll just go ahead and say for the other trip, Antigua, it's pretty much full. But if you want more details about that, feel free to ask me.
All right, so next summer, right now, we have those 3 trips planned. And so young people, if you need an application, Nathan has some right here with him tonight. Your life will be impacted if you go on a missions trip with an open heart.
Yes, I have applications here, and that's probably the easiest way to sign up. And if you want any kind of information about these trips, just feel free to reach out to me.
So we want young people, not just here at youth camp in July or camp in August, to hear about youth and missions. What are some other ways they can keep up with some of the information, some things we have coming out?
Sure. So we are going to be trying to keep you updated on our Facebook page about what's happening with Youth and Missions. And I think we have about 450 people following us on there. If you're not, feel free to follow us there on Facebook, and we'll try to keep you updated. We have a couple exciting things that are going to be coming out. We interviewed this Alaska team. If you want to hear more about what happened and their experience there, you keep an eye on our Facebook page, and that'll be coming out soon. We also have Midwinter High School Convention that we help put on. Do you know the dates of that right off?
I don't. It's either January or February. I don't know.
Sometime in the middle.
It'll be coming out.
Midwinter.
Yep.
Midwinter. Yep, that's about it.
Whatever midwinter is to different people. So.
Yeah. So we'll let you know about that, and we'd love all of you young people to join us there. It is really a great time. There's great speakers.
That's usually it's held at Allegheny Wesleyan College, and I think last year the youth committee for one of the meals got Chick-fil-A for all the kids.
That was us.
Or that was you.
Maybe that was the youth committee.
Somebody did. There was Chick-fil-A sandwiches.
one-up 'em
Who
and
likes
do it this
Chick-fil-A? All right, okay, there was a lot of other good food there too. It's a great day to be on the campus of Allegheny Wesleyan College, hear more about missions trips, some really good speakers for young people as well.
And if you've ever been on a Reach trip and you come to Midwinter High School Convention, you know what I'm probably going to say. Wear your Reach shirt. I want to see you all in your, especially the ones this year, your bright yellow Reach shirts.
All right, so we need to wrap this up. This service is about over. So Nathan, as the director of the Youth and Missions, these Reach teams, why does this organization exist? What's it all about?
REACH is an acronym. REACH stands for Ready, Eager, and Committed to Him. And that sort of sums up who we want to be as an organization. REACH exists, first of all, to give young people an opportunity to go and share the good news of Jesus, as we are instructed to do. It also, we do that specifically on a mission field setting, whether that's here in the U.S. or in a country around the world. And as you heard tonight, we love it when the young people come back and we get to see the impact that these trips have on their lives. I was speaking to someone this afternoon, a former missionary that worked for Allegheny, and in the late 80s went on a youth and missions trip. And her husband served for years as missionaries. And God spoke to their hearts about the field that they served on while they were on a youth and missions trip. And that's why we exist. We exist to get young people out there to see the need, as you heard about tonight, and to give them an opportunity for God to speak to them about His calling on their lives and what He wants them to do. So if you want any information about one of these trips, feel free to see me, and we'd love to have you go on one.
All right, thank you for coming to this pre-service. Didn't they do a great job? Thank you to all these young people. Thank you for giving. Many of you sent money into them. In your churches, pastors, promote these trips and encourage your young people to go. It'll change them. It'll change your church. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.